We all probably have spent countless hours in southern Husidius at the Sand Crabs, on Fossil Island at the Ammonite Crabs, or at the Nightmare Zone training up our combat levels. But an update earlier this year, in March, added a much better AFK combat training method that is more XP per hour, and at the same time it also gives you a solid bit of GP per hour. An amazing member of my Discord server let me know about this method, and if you want to join the Discord server, there'll be a link at the top of the description. Also, I've been doing bond, item, and GP giveaways in there every single week. Last week I gave away an Armadillo Godsword, and this week I'm giving away a Team Cape Zero, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. But Bree said, AFKing sulfurs for melee XP is honestly nuts, maybe worth a video, better XP rates than sand crabs, they drop tons of chaos runes, the weapon they drop is one of the best against them so it's Iron Man friendly, you can make your own super combat / prayer potions for free, and it gives passive rune crafting XP, and it's honestly pretty nuts. So we're gonna test this out today, and I'll show you guys how to get set up and how to do this Sulphur Nagua method. And we'll also figure out the XP per hour we can get with my current stats, as well as how much GP per hour we can fetch. And if you wouldn't mind, drop a like and comment on this video to help me out in the YouTube algorithm, thanks. Anyways, let's get into the method. For this method, unfortunately there are a couple requirements, but they aren't too bad and are definitely worth doing to get access to this crazy method. You will need to start the Perilous Moons quest. There are some tough bosses at the end of this quest, but you don't have to kill them to start doing this method, and I'll walk you through the start of the quest in a minute. And the requirements to start the Perilous Moon quest are level 48 in the Slayer skill, level 20 in the Hunting, Fishing, and Runecrafting skills, and level 10 in the Construction skill. You will also need to have completed the Children of the Sun and Twilight's Promise quests in order to start Perilous Moons. And for the training method itself, I'm going to recommend having at least 55 attack and a similar strength level. And here's the equipment or gear I'll be using for this method. Proselyte armor for the prayer bonus, fire cape, amulet of torture, barrows gloves, dragon boots, an imbued berserker ring, and most importantly, sulphur blades. And we'll get into why these blades are important a bit later in the video. But I'm getting ahead of myself as we need to start Perilous Moons. To get to the quest start, you can take the Quetzal from Varrock to Varlamore, or use the Civitas Illa Fortis teleport, and then if you already have built the landing pad by Camtorum, hop on the other Quetzal, and take it to the Camtorum entrance. If you haven't built the landing pad yet, like me, you should bring the materials needed to build the landing pad, which is 10 Quetzal feed, 4 soft clay, and 3 limestone bricks. Once you have the items, you can run west from the city along this path to build the landing pad for future use. And then we're going to run over to the Camtorum entrance where we'll find Zuma and Atala. I'm going to be going through the quest pretty quickly, so feel free to pause the video if you're following along. We're going to talk to one of them and go through the dialogue, and then if you have 47 agility, you can use this shortcut just northeast of the entrance and kill the Sulphur Nagua at the top of the hill. Protect from melee and it will always hit a 0. Alternatively, if you don't have 47 agility, you can run along the path to the west up and around the top of the shortcut. Once you've killed the Nagua, head back to Zuma and Atala and talk to them again and go through the dialogue. And now we have permission to enter Camtorum. Then head all the way straight north and talk to Jessamine and ask her if you can be of any help with the dig, and now enter the ruins just up the stairs, then talk to Atala, then talk to Zuma, and then talk to Jessamine. Now grab the building supplies from the crate a few tiles east of the group, then run to the southeastern part of the room and travel deeper into the ruins. Be careful as the Sulphur Naguas reside inside this room, so it would be a good idea to turn on Protect from melee. Follow the ruin path to this campsite and build it, which is indicated by the cooking pot icon on the minimap, and have a nice cup of tea. Then head back to the room with Atala, Zuma, and Jessamine and do the same thing for the northeastern ruin. Have another nice cup of tea, and then finally do the same thing for the northwestern ruin where you'll have your final cup of tea. Head back to the group in the center room and talk to Jessamine and ask her what to do and go through all the dialogue, and then they will give you 2 talismans. Head straight back south to the city and go to the magic shop and talk to Nata. She will enchant your talismans, and then head to the blacksmith, which is just northeast of the magic shop, talk to him, a short cutscene will play, then head back north into the ruins and speak to Atala. Now we can click on the talismans and it will direct us in the chat box where we need to go. It will direct us into one of the deeper ruins, and when we're at the right location, you can click on one of the talismans and a monster will appear. Go through the dialogue, head back and talk to the group in the center room, and then go through your last dialogue. And that's as far as you need to get to begin the AFK training, but feel free to continue and finish the quest if you'd like. I don't know, how'd I do guys? I haven't made any quest guides before, so I'm curious if you guys would want to see quest guides for the newer quests. Let me know in the comments below. Now that we have the quest setup all complete, we have access to my favorite aspect of this method, Moonlight Potions, which are basically combined super combat and prayer potions in a single potion, and they are free and super easy to make. and they are definitely essential to utilizing this method properly. To make them, I like to head into the northeastern cavern and collect from this close by grubby sapling. Fill up your inventory, then head back to the southwestern cavern where the Sulphur Naguas are and run to the campsite you built during the quest. And then right-click the boxes and take the herb lore supplies, which will give you a pestle and mortar if you don't already have one, as well as a couple vials of water. Then you can crush the moonlight grubs with your pestle and mortar and combine the resulting moonlight grub paste with a vial of water, and then you have moonlight potions. Now we can head back towards the entrance to the first room with the Sulphur Naguas. Make sure to turn on Protect from Melee and stand in the center of the room. I mentioned earlier that Sulphur Blades are a very great weapon to use for this method, and now I'll explain why. The Sulphur Blades are a dual-wielded weapon with stats similar to a dragon scimitar, where you strike the enemy twice for every attack. And the Sulphur Naguas take an extra 4 damage for every successful hit, meaning if you roll a 1 you will actually hit a 5, and if you roll a 2 you will hit a 6, and so on. This means that your minimum damage when you land a successful hit is 5, so getting as many separate successful hits on the Sulphur Naguas is definitely the best way to go for most DPS, which in turn gives you the most XP per hour. And also, because of this reason, it's definitely advised to avoid using slow hitting weapons against Sulphur Naguas. And for the Iron Men out there, the Sulphur Naguas actually drop the blades themselves with a 1 in 450 chance to drop. But if you're not an Iron Man, just do yourself a favor and buy them from the Grand Exchange for under 25k. So now that we have everything in place, let's actually do the method. Make sure to have Auto Retaliate on, Protect from Melee on, and just sit back and keep an eye on your prayer. Especially if you have a lower prayer level, as the Sulphur Naguas have a chance to drain your prayer by a few points. And when it does get low, sip on your Moonlight Potions, which will restore your prayer about the same amount as a prayer potion, and you will also get some insane great stat buffs from the potions. Like I said, Moonlight Potions are so nice, and I still can't believe they are free and easy to make. Alright, so we're about 10 minutes in now, and we need to reset our aggression timer. When I was recording this footage, I wasn't using the NPC aggression timer plugin, but you definitely should, as it will show you where you need to run to reset the timer and when. I didn't realize you don't have to run far at all to reset the timer for these guys, so I definitely lost a little XP running out and back into the cavern. But we are still getting around 104,000 XP per hour. This is definitely better than ammonite crabs, sand crabs, NMZ, you name it. I'm also curious to see how much more XP we can get if we use the Piety prayer. So I think I'm gonna do 30 minutes without Piety and then 30 minutes with Piety to see the difference. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes with just Protect from Melee and no Piety, and we came in at just under 100k strength XP per hour, and we managed to kill 102 Sulphur Naguas. And if we were collecting the loot, we would have brought in 128k, meaning we were earning 256,000 GP per hour. And another awesome thing about this method is that if you do decide to collect the loot, most of the drops are noted like the ores or stackable like the runes, so they won't consume too much of your inventory space that you need for the Moonlight Potions. And we just hit 85 strength, let's go. Now I'm gonna try it out with Piety for 30 minutes and we'll see the difference. Okay, yeah, off rip, this is getting a good bit more XP per hour, 130k strength XP per hour. Wow. You do have to keep a closer eye on your prayer though, so it's a trade-off for AFK-ness. Alright, so it's been about 30 minutes and it's settled down a bit, but we are still getting a decent bit more XP at around 115 strength XP, as well as 38,000 hit points XP per hour. Meaning in total, we are getting over 150,000 combat experience per hour. And with Piety on, in the 30 minutes we killed 115 Sulphur Naguas, and if we were collecting the loot we would be coming in at 282,000 GP per hour. Another thing to note that Bree from my Discord pointed out is that you can also get a little bit of rune crafting XP by collecting the sulfurous essence drops and turning them in at the Spirit Woman in the rewards room, but you can only do this if you have fully completed the Perilous Moons quest. I will definitely be using this method in the future, but I think I'll do it without Piety, as it is quite a bit less AFK, but it is an option if you want to trade off the AFK ability for more XP. Now I will admit, sand crabs is definitely a lot more AFK as you don't have to watch your prayer at all and you just have the aggression timer to worry about. But personally, I'll be using this method most of the time as it is AFK enough for me and the XP is so much better. And in addition, I can also pick up the drops and get a decent bit of GP while training combat. I'm truly a big fan of this method and that's why I decided to make this video for you guys. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and comment. I'm interested in hearing your guys' preferred combat training methods. And while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel. And that's going to do it for me guys, thanks for watching, till next time, peace.